Hey everybody, welcome back to Mr. Martin Science Corner. I know it's been a while and I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe out there. I want to give a quick shout out to my 7th graders at JAMS because they recently got me to over 100 subscribers here on the channel. So to celebrate that, I wanted to get a new video posted. So I hope you enjoy. So it's been really cold in Seattle here for about the last week or so. And it snowed a lot. There's been a lot of ice on the roads and the sidewalks. So I was trying to clear the sidewalk a few days ago. And if you've ever done this before, you may have put salt onto the ice to try to get it to melt a little bit. So I did this, and I noticed something that I wasn't expecting. So I took a quick video of it when it started happening, and I want to show that to you and see if you notice what I did. So have a quick look. So if you listened closely, you might have heard the crackling noise that was happening on top of the ice. So I took this video about 10 seconds or so after I sprinkled the salt onto the ice. So it was very quick and it was very loud. It was much louder than I was expecting. So I thought this was a good opportunity to make a video and a short demonstration about why we put salt on top of ice to get it to melt and sort of what that accomplishes. So you can definitely do this along at home if you have salt. So I just used regular salt like this. You may have something very similar in the kitchen. And then I used 2 little cups of water. So in 1 cup, I just put regular tap water. And then in the other cup, I put a ½ cup of tap water and I mixed it with 1 teaspoon of that salt. I mixed it really well so it was all dissolved. And then I put both of those cups into the freezer. Now my freezer is about 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Different freezers at different settings are different temperatures, but just so you know, that's where mine was. And I left them in there for about 2.5 hours. So let's have a look at the difference between the regular tap water and the salt water mixture. All right, here we have our 2 different cups of water. On the left, this is our regular tap water. And on the right, this is our salt water. So again, I put 1 teaspoon of salt into a ½ cup of tap water. So this is about 4% salt. This is really salty water. You would definitely not want to drink this. So let's see sort of what the differences are. First of all, you can see very clearly that the tap water is very clear. You can also see that the salt water is much less clear. So that's a big difference right away, which makes sense, right? Because this water has a bunch of salt in it. Let's see if they froze differently as well. So I'm gonna get a little bit of a different angle. Okay, so I'm just gonna tap this a little bit. Let's see, there we go. Tap this a little bit. It's pretty solid. I'm gonna tap it a little harder, see if it's, okay, I'm tapping pretty hard now. It's starting to crack. So a little bit underneath it is still liquid. So the top froze, pretty strong. Okay, so what about the salt water? Well, I'm gonna tap it lightly. Oh, and you can see very quickly, it just kind of breaks apart. And you can still see that sort of cloudy color there. So these were both, again, in the freezer at about 15 degrees Fahrenheit for the exact same amount of time, 2.5 hours approximately. So we could clearly see that the 2 types of water froze very differently. So the regular tap water formed a very nice, thick layer of ice on top. And eventually, if we had left this in the freezer long enough, it would have frozen all the way through, kind of just like what we'd expect ice to do. The salt water, on the other hand, it didn't really freeze. It got kind of slushy. And if we had left it in longer, I don't know, it may have frozen. It may have not frozen. It may have sort of gotten more slushy. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But this is something you can try at home. But before we get to that, this is a great illustration of why we put salt onto ice to get it to melt. So in a way, it's sort of harder for water to freeze if there is salt on it. It freezes sort of at a lower temperature. So if it is, for example, 20 degrees here in Seattle, we would expect that the water would turn into ice, no problem. But if we put salt on top of the water or on top of the ice, it is sort of harder to freeze. It would freeze at a lower temperature. So that's why we do it. So if you want to try this at home, you can just take 2 cups of water. You should use 1 cup of water and not do anything to it. And then in the other cup of water, you can try different things. You can put different amounts of salt. You can put sugar. You can try other substances. And then put them in the freezer, see what happens. See how long it takes the water to freeze, and then see how long it takes the other mixture that you've made to freeze. And compare them, see what the differences are. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give this a shot at home. It's pretty interesting to kind of play around with these different substances. And hopefully I'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody.